For today's video, I'm going to talk about all of my favorite Amazon purchases from last year, and I was contemplating on making this video my favorite Amazon purchases of all time, but that would just take forever, so I just left it at my 2019 favorite Amazon purchases. So if you guys are interested, just keep watching because I still have a lot to show you. So before I get started, I do have an Amazon shop where I categorize all of my favorites. Every time I'm really loving something, I add it to a specific category in my Amazon shop. So there are a bunch of things that I'm not going to talk about in this video that I've purchased from previous years that are all my favorites that are on that page. It's always linked in my description, but I'll link it at the top of the description this time so you guys can see it. So last year I discovered this heated gel cap, and it's just a gel cap that you put in the microwave for 2 minutes or 1.5 minutes. So this just helps any mask or any oil treatment or any treatment that you're putting on your hair penetrate a little better. And I do notice a difference when I don't use a heated gel cap than when I do. So I don't use this every single time I wash my hair, but I try my best to use this at least twice a month, because sometimes I feel like putting a deep conditioner on in the shower for 10 minutes while I'm washing my body is just not enough. And the last product that I have for hair that I purchased from Amazon last year is this guy. This is the Curl Keeper Original Total Control for Frizzy Hair. I've talked about this a bunch of times on my channel, so I'm not gonna get too into it. But yes, I live in Miami. It's very humid here. My hair gets frizzy. This helps prevent frizz. I apply this right after applying my leave-in conditioner, and it just really does a good job at taming my hair, especially if I'm not using styling products that are targeted for frizz. So can't recommend this enough. It's very lightweight. It's water-based. You can use a lot of it. It doesn't weigh your hair down. Next, I have this thing right here, and this is a face steamer. So it has a couple of options. You can use it to warm your towels, I guess, if you're gonna steam a towel and put it on your face, a facial steamer, and a humidifier. So I mostly just use this for the facial steaming when I give myself little mini facials. So the way that I use this is I just try my best to prevent my pores from getting even more clogged. So when I see that there's a little tiny bit of texture or a tiny little bump, I try to steam my face, open up those pores, and gently extract whatever's in there. I don't like to wait for it to be too big. If I see that I have way too much texture, I go and see a professional. But in between facials, I do like to have something, you know, that I can use to steam my face, open my pores, whether it be to apply a mask or to do a couple of little small gentle extractions. So yeah, just use this with caution, but I think that it is a pretty good steamer. It does the job. Next, I have this little handheld fan. It has 3 settings. I use this to dry my face after I've set it, so I use setting sprays religiously because I don't like my skin to look cakey at all, and I always have to set my T-zone with a powder because I get a little oily here. I also set my under eyes and stuff, and I don't like for any of that to look powdery. So I always go in with a setting spray, and I use this to dry my face as opposed to having to walk to the bathroom and use my blow dryer, which is what I used to do. So really recommend having something like this on your vanity if you do like to speed up the process of your setting spray drying. It's also very good to have in your purse because you can close it like this, so it's very compact, and also it's very hot here all the time, so this comes in handy. So if you guys know me by now, you know that I love purchasing vintage belts, but a lot of the times the belts don't really fit properly. The holes are just not in the right place, or I want to make it a waist belt and it's not meant to be a waist belt. So I got a hole puncher for my belts, and this thing is so cool. It has a bunch of different little diameters for the hole that you want to punch. You just switch it on the plate and then you just press down, you put the belt and you press down, and it makes a perfect hole in whatever size you want. So this next thing is actually not something that I discovered last year, but I want to talk about it because I purchased new colors last year, so it was in my 2019 Amazon purchases when I was going through all of my orders. If you guys watch my vlogs, you may or may not notice that I always wear the same thing to the gym. I'm always wearing a cropped tank with some variation of high-waisted leggings and something tied around my waist. And the cropped tank tops that I buy are from Amazon. I have them in pretty much every color, almost every color. This is my favorite style. I have washed them so many times. They keep their shape. Granted, I don't dry them in the dryer. I air dry the majority of my clothes, including this, but they don't shrink. They fit perfectly on the body. They are fitted, but they're long enough so that not too much of my stomach is like exposed. I don't know. I just really love these paired with high-waisted leggings. This is a little fabric shaver to remove the pilling off any kind of fabric. I use this for my fluffy sweaters. I use this for my couch. I use this for when my thighs rub on fabric and I get that pilling. It is such a useful little tool. I can't tell you how many times I've washed a knit sweater, and even though I don't dry it in the dryer, it still gets very fluffy and weird and ugly. This has saved so many of my knit sweaters. It has saved all of my very expensive leggings that start pilling because my thighs rub. You know, there's not much you can do about it. I don't have a thigh gap. My thighs rub. I get the pilling. It happens. But yes, this is a lifesaver. My canisters that I have for my coffee, for my Cuban coffee, they're actually see-through. They're glass. And you're not supposed to have your ground coffee in a see-through container. So I don't really care about that for my Cuban coffee. I don't really notice that much of a difference because I go through my Cuban coffee very quickly. So it's not like it's sitting in my glass container for a long time, so it's fine. But since I use my American coffee a lot less, it's sitting in a canister for a longer period of time. So you're supposed to have your coffee grounds in a sealed container that is dark and that is preferably like airtight. So I got this. It's stainless steel, I believe. I do notice a huge difference in the longevity of the freshness of my coffee. If you do have, you know, a machine and you brew your own iced coffee and things like that, then I recommend getting something like this if you want to keep your coffee grounds fresh. This pillow right here, it is an orthopedic pillow that is meant to keep your cervical straight when you're sleeping. And I had like an issue with my back. I slept on it incorrectly and I had stiff neck. It was so annoying. I couldn't move. Everything hurt so badly, and I'm pretty sure it was because of a sleeping position that I was in. So I looked into a couple of pillows on Amazon and I chose this one, and I'm so happy I did. The quality of your sleep is something that is so incredibly important. If you're having restless nights and you're not getting good quality sleep, it's going to be reflected in your face, in your skin, in your hair, in your productivity, in everything. Your sleep is so important. So you need to invest in the things that you sleep on, whether it be your mattress or your comforter or your pillows, whatever it is. So this just has a little space where I put my head, and it just keeps my neck and my spine and everything aligned, and that little thing alone has improved my sleep so much. It is crazy. This is the only pillow that I sleep with. Next, I have my drawer separators, and I have this in my bathroom. It's just like this little separator that you can extend and put it in any drawer. I also use this for my bras and my underwear, and I feel like it is so much better than buying these plastic containers because you're so limited in what you can fit in all of these little containers. When it comes to things like skincare, all of your little bottles or whatever it is that you have in your skincare drawer, is going to be like all different shapes and sizes. It's hard to make all of those things fit seamlessly in all of these other like plastic containers. These drawer dividers are amazing, especially for clothes. I'm going to organize all of my gym clothes eventually with the same dividers. If you guys need organization within your drawers, I really recommend these drawer dividers. They're expandable, so you can customize them to whatever depth or width your drawers are. This is what I use to make my acai bowls, and I love it. I recommend it to everybody. I used to buy the little packets that they have at the grocery store, and honestly, it's way too expensive and way too wasteful. You just don't get enough. All you need is 1 teaspoon of this. This will last you forever. You could use it in your shakes and in your smoothie bowls or acai bowls, whatever it is. You just add whatever you want to your shake. Obviously, this is not sugary, or it doesn't really taste like anything, so you can put it in whatever you want. This next thing I get a lot of questions on, they are my purse hangers. I have my rack that I keep outside of my closet, which is from Ikea. So these purse hangers are perfect because I can align my purses nicely and very organized. It is a huge space saver, if you don't have a lot of shelves to put your bags on, and it is nice to be able to see everything. The more that I see things, the more organized all of my clothes and all of my shoes and my accessories are, the more likely I am to get use out of them because they're just like in my face. So those are all of my favorite Amazon purchases from last year. Like I said, I'm gonna leave the link to my Amazon shop so you can see all of my all-time favorite things on Amazon by category, very nicely organized on there. I'll leave that in the description, so be sure to check it out. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.